Hello everyone. So yesterday we studied about oxidation reduction reactions. Now today we will be finishing with the chapter. The last part of the topic is corrosion. You have learnt about corrosion earlier also. What is corrosion? Corrosion means rusting. In normal words it is rusting, gungening. That is corrosion. Okay. What happens during corrosion? The particular metal reacts with different gases in the atmosphere to form a layer of the particular salt or the compound on the surface of the metal. That is called as corrosion. You have studied about rusting of iron. Rusting of iron means, what is rusting of iron? It is an oxidation reaction where iron reacts with oxygen to form iron oxide. Aluminium reacts with oxygen to form aluminium oxide and forms a layer on the utensils made up of aluminium. In the last lecture we had discussed about that. Today we will be discussing rusting of iron, what has been given in the textbook. Okay. Now in the textbook they have given an experiment. Okay, an experiment in which they have taken 4 test tubes. In the first test tube they have taken iron nail and water in it with a layer of oil on the top. In the second test tube they have taken nail plus salt solution. In the third test tube they have taken nail, there is no any other solution in it but there is air in it. In the fourth case, air and anhydrous calcium chloride. Okay, they have taken anhydrous calcium chloride. There is no solution in the fourth test tube also. Now what will happen in this? What will you find after few days? Okay, after several days, after several years or so, rusting might start in this also. But what is observed after a few days? In test tube 2 and 3, there is a change in appearance of iron nail. In the case of 2 and 3, there is a change in appearance of iron nail. A reddish colored layer is formed. A reddish colored layer is formed on the iron nail. That reddish colored layer is of rust. Both water and air is necessary for rusting. What can you conclude from this? Both water and air is necessary for rusting. The rusting process takes place rapidly in presence of salt. In this solution rusting takes place more fast, okay, rapidly. And in this also rusting takes place rapidly because there is atmosphere in it. In the atmosphere there is water vapor. That water vapor and oxygen will react with that iron nail to bring about rusting of iron. Okay. And the iron nail in test tube 1 in this case and in this case, and test tube 4 remains same as before. In test tube 1, due to layer of oil, no rusting occurs. Okay, as there is a layer of oil above, and this is boiled water, not normal water, it is boiled water, so there are no particular salts in it. Okay, salts nahi, ions. Okay, ions are not present. So as ions are not present and as it is not in contact with atmosphere, the process of rusting is slowed down. It does not take place. In test tube 4, calcium chloride absorbs the moisture. There is air inside, but that air inside is the moisture is absorbed by calcium chloride which is present in the test tube. Okay, so what will happen? There is no moisture available, and so as there is no moisture available, the rusting process does not take place. So in case of 1 and 4, rusting does not take place. In case of 2 and 3, rusting take place. This is a 3-mark question which is asked. It is given, the diagram is given and the questions are asked. You may write these answers in your textbook itself. Okay, right. Okay, so now we may see the question on page number 45, the exercise question, or if you are having a question, explain rusting of iron. What is happening? What are the electrochemical reactions which are occurring during rusting of iron? The question will be electrochemical reactions for rusting of iron. How does rusting of iron take place? Now we will see. Different regions on the surface of iron act as anode and cathode. Now in some cases the iron material could be painted, isn't it? So if it is painted, what is the purpose of painting? The purpose of painting is to prevent the exposure of iron to the atmosphere. But at some times what happens, the paint might get peeled off. Okay, the paint might get peeled off, or there might be some small regions where the paint is not there, it is open. The open regions will act as anode and the closed region could act as cathode. So it is not strictly like that. Different regions on the surface of iron act as anode and cathode. Different surfaces act as anode and different surfaces act as cathode. Especially the open regions act as anode. Now what happens at the anode region? In the anode, Fe is oxidized to Fe2+. Okay, so we have studied oxidation and reduction reaction. What is oxidation? Oxidation is losing electrons. So as iron is open, what will happen? It starts losing electrons. Okay, just basla starts losing electrons. So here we are continuing with rusting of iron. Rusting of iron, in the anode, Fe is oxidized to Fe2+. Fes, that is a solid which is the surface of Fe, gets converted into Fe2+ plus 2 electrons. The electron released in the anode region flows to the cathode region and reduce oxygen. Now there is a water molecule here. Water molecule means it is exposed to, on all the surface, moisture. It is exposed to moisture. It is exposed to atmosphere. In atmosphere there are water molecules, there are O2 molecules. Okay, in the atmosphere there are O2 molecules. That at cathode what happens? The O2, which is the gas, it will react with 4H+. Now where does this H+ come from? The H+ is present in this water molecules. Okay, it is present in the moisture. Now for example, the CO2 which is present in the atmosphere, it combines with H+, H2O. Okay, it combines with H2O in the atmosphere to form H2CO3, that is carbonic acid. That carbonic acid gets converted into H+ and CO3 2-. Okay, that is not there in the syllabus. You have to just remember that there are H positive ions present in the water molecule, which comes from the acid molecules which are present in the water molecule. Okay, so at cathode, O2 plus that H plus these 4 electrons combine to form water molecule. It gets converted into water molecule. Alternatively, in the cathode region, O2 is reduced to form OH- ions. In the diagram which is on page number 45, they have given an equation at the cathode. What happens at the cathode? This also happens at the cathode. So O2 plus 2H2O plus 4 electrons gives 4 OH- ions. So either this is formed or this is formed. Okay, now when Fe2 migrates from anode region, they react with water. When the Fe2 is formed here, it migrates outside, it comes outside, they react with water or OH- ions and further gets oxidized to form Fe3+ ions. They get converted into Fe3+ ions. That Fe3+ ions will react with water. Fe3+ ions forms an insoluble hydrated oxide, that is Fe2O3.XH2O, which is deposited as reddish brown layer on the surface called rust. 2 Fe3+ plus 4H2O gives Fe2O3.H2O plus 6H+. Okay, this is the reaction. If you are having a question on explain corrosion or explain rusting of iron or explain the figure, okay, the figure given the question in the exercise, you have to write this much. Now what happens exactly with this, that I will show you next. It is not there in the syllabus, but I will explain it to you. Before that, we will repeat what happens during rusting of iron. First point, different regions on the surface of iron acts as anode and cathode. What happens at anode? At anode, ion is getting converted into Fe is getting converted into Fe2 plus and 2 electrons. The electron released in the anode region flows into the cathode region. It reacts with oxygen. Okay, and O2 plus 4 OH minus ions which are present in this water or the atmosphere, it and plus 4 electrons will form 4 4H plus 4 electrons. It will give 2 H2O molecules. Okay, otherwise what will happen in the cathode region? O2 is reduced to form OH minus ions. Okay, this both reactions could happen at the cathode. When Fe2 migrates from anode region to, they react with water or OH minus ions. That Fe2 plus or Fe2 plus, it reacts with water molecule or OH minus ions to get converted into Fe3 plus. That Fe3 plus again will react with water to get converted into rust, a reddish colored substance which is called as rust. I repeat, different regions on the surface of iron act as anode and cathode. At anode, Fe is getting converted from Fe to Fe2 plus 4 electrons. Those electrons flow to the cathode region. At cathode region, oxygen is reduced to water or OH minus ions, and these OH minus ions are water molecules are present around the ion. That Fe2 plus, which is formed at the anode region, it comes out, it reacts with OH minus ions or water molecules to form Fe3 plus. That Fe3 plus, it again react with water molecules to form hydrated oxide of iron, that is Fe2O3 dot H2O. This is in short what is rusting of iron. Okay, you may copy this very clearly in your notebook. Okay, it is given in the notes also, and learn it. It is a very important question. It could be a 5 mark or 3 mark question. You may write. Okay, here I have given the reactions which are occurring during rusting of iron. First of all, I will tell you, during rusting of iron, there are different types of reactions taking place, and the rust mainly is of different types. That means of different colors. There is black rust, red rust, brown rust, yellow rust, and so on. Okay, so they are of different colors, and in all these cases, the all these colors, the chemical compound which is formed could be different. Okay, so according to that, there are different reactions. You might have observed yellow rust, you might have observed orange rust, brown rust, red rust. Okay, you might have observed the different colors. There are different colors of rust. Okay, there are different types of rust. So there are different chemical reactions. This is not given in the syllabus. You don't have to write this anywhere. It is only for your information. Okay, so at first, different regions on the surface of the iron act as anode and cathode. The open surface is acting as the anode and the closed surface is acting as the cathode. In anode, all the reactions are the same. In anode, what is happening? Iron is getting converted from Fe to Fe2 plus electrons. Okay, those electrons migrate. At cathode, what happens? Oxygen molecule is present. It will react with water molecule and these electrons to form 4 OH minus ions. Okay, it will react to form 4 OH minus ions. Otherwise, what will happen? O2 will react with 4 H plus molecules. H plus molecules are present in these water droplets in the atmosphere. It react with 4 H plus and 4 electrons. These electrons to form water molecules. Okay, both of these could happen. Okay, if it is forming water molecule, Fe3 plus will react with water molecule to form rust, which is Fe2O3 dot H2O. Okay, which is Fe2O3 dot H2O, which I had written in the other equation. Or what will happen in this case? O2 plus water molecule plus electrons will give you 4 OH minus. That OH minus move towards Fe2 plus ions to form FeOH twice. What will happen? Fe2 plus 2 OH minus will give FeOH twice, or Fe3 plus plus 3OH minus will give FeOH thrice. Now this FeOH thrice is called as yellow rust. Okay, that means if rusting stops, rusting could stop here also. That is yellow rust, the yellow colored rust which you observe on the surface of iron. Okay, so here it could stop. Otherwise, what will happen? This FeOH twice, it will again react with oxygen to form a 2Fe2O3 dot H2O, which is brown rust. Okay, brown rust. So there are different types of rust. In the reaction on page number 45 which have been given, this reaction is given in extra. Okay, this I have explained here what happens to that. It is not expected for you to write in your paper, it is just for you to understand. If you are having a question on right or on corrosion, or you have to explain that diagram which is given on page number 45, you have to just page number 45, yes, correct, page number 45, you have to just write the answer which I had written in the other clip. This you may write in your notebook if you want. Okay, so here we have finished with the chapter. One more topic is left. That topic is called as rancidity. What is rancidity? Rancidity is a process. It is oxidation reaction itself. It is a process during which the oil, if it is exposed to air for longer time, what will happen? The oil will get oxidized. The cooking oil, if you might have ever experienced, the taste of groundnut, it changes. Okay, if you are eating groundnuts, you might have got some groundnuts which are having a little different taste, a spoiled taste. That taste is because of rancidity. That means the oil which is present in the groundnut have undergone oxidation reaction. Due to that reaction, the taste of that particular product changes. It happens to oil also. If you keep oil for several days open, or if you keep it in the tin for several days, it will react with oxygen. Okay, and it could get spoiled. When you heat that oil, it frothens up. Frothens up means foam is formed at the top. Okay, and it will be having a different taste. Now, to prevent rancidity, it not only occurs in oil, it takes place in other products also. Okay, so to prevent that, antioxidants are added. Okay, you might have heard about antioxidants in case of the different foodstuffs. To prevent oxidation and to prevent spoiling, the different antioxidants are added. Antioxidants are different chemicals which are added to prevent oxidation. So this process of oxidation which causes spoiling of oil, it is called as rancidity. It is a point, it is an answer which is given on page number 45 here. This much. Okay, there are 4 points. If you are having a question on rancidity, you will have to write it. Okay, now homework for today is to write about the corrosion of iron, that is rusting of iron. I will write it here. Homework is to explain rusting of iron and write a short note on rancidity. This is the homework. Okay, hope you are doing the homework. You have to write it in your notebooks. I will be checking it when your classes open. Okay, reopen. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter. The chapter is very, very important. It is having a weightage of about 6 marks. Several questions are asked from it. I have told you what are the important questions and what are the type of questions which could be asked from this chapter. Okay, so in the next lecture we will be discussing about the exercise part. Okay, thank you.